Hi guys, I had the pleasure of attending a pretty unique event in the RedBull Gaming Grounds, and there were 10 amateur players as well as a lot of personality and ex-pros that I have worked with a decent amount in the past. And the new people to me were the amateur players, and they just had a vastly different attitude and mentality than a lot of the people that I'm used to. And when I generally attend events, there's a lot of professional players like TI. There's 16 teams plus a few backup teams, as well as a lot of these talent and personalities who have been participating in professional Dota for quite a long time. And after talking to both the professional players, the ex-professional players, as well as the amateurs, there's a huge difference in between this group and then the amateurs. A lot of the amateurs, I don't want to call them immature, but they just have a very negative mentality. We were just playing a game, and a minute and a half in, they're like, "Oh my gosh, why didn't you listen to me? Come on." I told you to play more passively, and then both of them die and they just start bickering with each other, and then they go back to the off lane and then they die one more time, and then they're just like, "Oh my gosh, I don't even want to play this game anymore." And that's just such a negative Nancy attitude. It's such a pain in my ass to even want to play with these people. Like, I don't really want to play with these guys. They're just already calling the game over like 3.5 minutes in, and they're just yelling at their teammate that they spent a lot of time with, and they're trying to advance to, one would hope, the international with. And is it really worth it to just be a complete a-hole for a year and play with these sort of guys? Like, is it really worth it? Are you that good that you can justify that? A lot of these players are at least 6K, and some of them were 7K, but their attitude just won't get them past the amateur scene at all, because the professional players, they're always looking for constructive criticism. They're always willing to listen to other people. They don't let their hubris get to them. They don't get really high ratings so they can talk crap to other people. They don't get really high ratings so they have authority in their pub games and they get this like super high confidence that everything that they do is right. The professional players, they know that they're high rated, but there's always something more they can learn. They're always trying to get better at Dota as opposed to win more. Winning is an important part of Dota, but I think getting better at Dota is more important than winning. And if you win more, you may not necessarily get better at Dota, but if you get better at Dota, you'll definitely win more. So that's whenever I try and grind games out, like 10 games a day or whatever. I'm always trying to get better at Dota, and after I get better at Dota, then winning will come more naturally. Like if I spam 1,000 Leshrac games, that's great. I can play the Leshrac in a patch where he is deemed by and large the most imbalanced hero, and then when he's nerfed, that doesn't really translate well to me winning with any other hero in any other patch. So you want to, when I go into games, I'm always trying to focus on getting better with this hero, putting myself in difficult positions that I can try and evaluate my decisions, make a decision on the fly, see whether it was a good one or not, and then use that knowledge to further my gameplay in other games or even in that own game. And a lot of the amateur players that I watch, they like concentrated way too much on things that happened in the past. They got like emotionally tilted, and they let that affect them in the future. And I'm always a big proponent of trying to focus on things that you can control in real life as well as in Dota. You can't control that the offlane fed 5 times in the past. Like, it happened. You probably didn't see it coming, but there's nothing that you can do about it now. You can't erase his deaths on the score screen. What you can do is try and help him out a little bit more. Maybe TP when he's getting tower dove, or tell him, be like, "Hey, maybe I'll stack jungle for you so you can come back as Darkseer, and then you can get your mech, and then we can start fighting, and the game will be better from there." That's a healthy attitude. That's a positive attitude. That's something that you can affect directly, and it can influence your team's chances of winning the game, as opposed to "WTF, stop feeding, you mofo." Like, that doesn't help anyone. This particular guy just didn't realize he was being a complete a-hole when he was just feeding the courier and just calling everything over at 5 minutes. And no one, like, your real life friends probably don't want to play with you, and professional players who have their pick of the litter and who are very, very popular and super skilled and super nice to play with, like, of course they're not going to want to play with this guy. And he was trying to wonder why he couldn't make that jump from a high level amateur to professional even at a low level, and a lot of it was just because he just rubbed people the wrong way. You can be an AK player, but if you're not willing to listen to anyone, if you're not willing to help and communicate with your team, if you're not willing to just not be a complete a-hole, then nobody is going to want to play with you. So I encourage you to have a positive attitude, control the things that you can focus on, and change in a game, like what is going to happen the next couple of minutes, and direct your team on how they're supposed to move in the future, as opposed to telling them to go die in a fire because they fed 5 kills in 5 minutes. So just have a more healthy approach so that people like playing Dota with you, and you'll also have more fun playing yourself if you're concentrating on getting better at the game as opposed to winning. And don't think you know it all, because nobody knows it all in Dota. So thank you guys. That was just one of the takeaways that I had from the RedBull Gaming Grounds, and good luck to all the amateur players out there. And a change of attitude is definitely necessary for a lot of them, unfortunately. So I think that sometimes it's a cultural thing, sometimes it's just a maturity thing, sometimes it's just a lack of life experience thing, sometimes it can't be changed. And I'm not saying that everyone can change it, but at least you can try your best. So thank you guys. Have a good one.